What's going on, guys? Welcome to NAB 2022. This is Ted here from the A-Team, and today we are talking about a new product here. I got it right next to me. It is, I think, something that a lot of people have been asking for. We've been reading all the comments. We're super excited to launch this one today. And we've got it in the flesh. I'm going to walk through and do a full detailed presentation of what's going on here. But first, and before we do that, let's talk real quick about the Bowens Mount, basically one of the introductions that we actually brought to the cinema industry. Now, I think for a lot of people out there growing up that have recently come to the filmmaking industry, this is a standard, right? We already know that lights are modular. We start off with a hard light. We can shape that using a Fresnel variable beam angle. If we want to make that light soft, we can do that just by putting on a softbox. If we want to project that light, we can do that using a spotlight mount. Now, this is just a style of lighting that actually for a lot of people now is kind of a gold standard on sets. But I want to be very clear, this was not always the case. And actually, just about 5 years ago, when we started off making these lights, these Bowens Mount fixtures, and bringing these to the cinema industry, this was not the way that a lot of filmmakers were working. And this is actually something that Aputure had to bring in, and a lot of the Aputure users out there, if you're watching this, you know, this is something that we brought bit by bit onto sets because, again, the ease of use of being able to take one light, and your hard light can be any light, instead of your hard light can only be a hard light and your soft light can only be a soft light. And if you want to diffuse it, everything has to be on a separate stand and built off of it. This standard of lighting is something that we've really brought to this industry and something that we're really excited about. So, when we talk about modular lighting though, we talk about the Bowens Mount, let's talk real quick about what that progression has looked like. So, starting off, we started with the 120D. Of course, you guys remember it was a classic staple. Moving on from there, the 300D, that's increasing that brightness all the way up to the 600D. And then, of course, in the last 2 months, we just released the 1200D Pro. Now, as far as brightness, what does that mean? We're talking about with the 1200D Pro, the question that we always got asked in the beginning was, how does this light compare to an M18? And finally, we've brought a light that I can actually compare, and people have done the third-party tests online. I won't go into detail about that. But we brought that intensity finally bit by bit into that same modular system that we know and love. But I think the question when we do something like that is, we know about the brightness, we know about the modularity, but beyond shaping and beyond brightness, what comes next? And today that's what we're going to talk about here. Beyond brightness, in terms of modularity, what is the next step? The next step is, you got it, full spectrum in full force. Now today we are showing off something that, again, RGBWW technology, we've talked about basically being able to have full RGB lights as far as being able to program in any color that you want. But let's talk real quick about what makes this light different. So it's not the 600DX, it's not the 600D, it is the 600C Pro. The C, of course, standing for full color tunability. Now, we got a little video just introducing this product, so let's see that and we'll get back to the technical walkthrough. Let's do it. All right, so this is the Aputure 600C Pro. We're super excited to be releasing this product today and showing it off, of course. But let's do the full technical walkthrough. Let's talk about actually building this product and what it took to actually get to this point. We're going to talk about a little bit about what this product can do, and then a couple of features that I think you guys are going to want to know as well. So, starting off, let's start with what the technology that's actually underlying this product is. And number one, what we're talking about here is we're talking about RGBWW technology. Now, why is RGBWW so important? And I know I'm going to get this question already because, again, I think when we started off with bringing that Bowens mount, we brought that interchangeable mount to the system. One of the biggest products that came out that was a big confirmation of the way that we're working was, of course, I have to mention it, is the RE Orbiter. When the Orbiter came out, we were super excited that this product came out because, again, this is really the ultimate confirmation that, yes, modular lighting, interchangeable accessories on an LED mount, this is something that we're really excited about, and that confirmed basically the way that we've been working for the past 8 years. Now, here is the thing with modular lighting, and here's the thing with RGBWW though. Traditionally, the film tech industry, the way that we've kind of worked is we've taken a lot of the components that have come from other industries, and we've just taken those and built those into our products. And that's because for the longest time, film tech has really been a niche industry. If you think about the number of people that have been able to make broadcast video, in the past 20 years, it's boomed. Which means that for the past 100 years, film tech has been really honestly kind of a niche industry, which means that a lot of innovation has not been happening in this industry. And actually the components that we use to make our products come from different industries. Now, the problem with that is that a lot of the time these industries are not consistent. And starting off the bat, actually the first point source LEDs that were available on the market on the component level were actually coming from the architectural industry. And that architectural industry was using, surprise, surprise, the first chip that came out was a RGB ACL chip. Now I know I'm going to get a lot of questions about this. That is a 6-color engine, but if you be clear, talking about the actual color standards that work here, we're going to talk about why you actually want RGBWW technology. Instead, we're going to talk about how our technology competes with the best out there. We'll do a couple of comparisons as well for you too. So, for us, we had a choice early on. If we wanted to, we could take the off-the-component shelf, we could take the architectural standard, we could bring that over and use that in our film tech lighting. But if we did that, right off the bat, the first problem would be, number one, the actual colors that we're using here in our light would not match any of our other lights if we did go with that 6-color engine. So, in the way that if you guys have worked on any of the high-end sets and you know already, if you take a Sky panel, if you take a Gemini, and you tune them both to 230 HSI, they're not going to match. And in a lot of cases, when you keep tuning that wheel, you'll see sometimes it's going to turn entirely blue on one light, it's going to turn totally green on the other light. And the reason for that is because we have a lack of color standards in our industry, and that's a huge problem. But even beyond that, if we talk about products within the same brands, a lot of the time what brands will do is they'll use different color engines because, again, they're not actually creating the components. They're taking these components from different industries, and when they do that, they have inconsistent science that's actually going underneath all of their color sides. And the problem with that, again, is that even within the same brand, if you take a Sky panel and you took an orbiter and you tune them again to the same HSI, you're not going to get the exact same colors because, again, one is using a 6-color engine, the other one is using a 4-color engine, and all of a sudden, whatever parts they find off the shelves is not possible. So, what was the challenge for us as Aputure? The challenge for us as Aputure is, first of all, we already made our Aputure color science the best of the best in the industry. And just to talk about what that means, let's talk about what Aputure color science is against the best. This real quick, again, quick color standards here. This is the Nova P600C versus an RE6S60. If we do our color standards, we've already talked about this before, CRI of 95 plus, TLCI of 95 plus, SSI daylight of 74 and SSI of 84. So off the bat, we're already talking about industry leading color. We already have beaten a lot of the best here. Now, the question though is taking this exact color science that we have in the Nova, something that's built into an array, and how can we pack that and design it on a component level? Again, not using what's off the shelves, design that exact color science in so that not only are you getting industry leading color, and again, we have already done the tests out there, compared to any other RGB color mixing LED, we already will win as far as doing that. And if you want to do those comparisons, check them for yourselves. Look again, you're looking at the SSI scores. And if you don't know what the SSI score is, real quick, CRI, again, we're measuring color swatches. How closely are these lights to real daylight? TLCI, we're measuring twice as many swatches to see how fine can we get. And we're talking about SSI, we are literally doing a spectrum to spectrum match of how close is our light to real daylight. SSI is the most important score out there. The entire scientific community will back this. And when we talk about SSI, you're not really going to find anything higher than this. We've already done those tests. And again, we encourage them and encourage the community out there to do those tests yourself. Again, SSI of 84 on tungsten, incredibly high, and that's built into the component that we designed here. Now, with the challenge for us though, we had again an array of RGB colors, but we need to pack this into an ultra dense dye. So when we take this, instead of diffusing it through a panel, we have to pack this into something that's under 2 inches as far as the actual chip on board goes. So we did it though. This took some time. We didn't just go with the easiest option here. We made sure that when we release this product, this light again will match the entire Aputure ecosystem, because again, for Aputure, it's an ecosystem. Every product that you use in the Aputure ecosystem not only communicates with each other via Sidus Link, they verify each other via Sidus Link, they expand the network, they transmit, they receive, they actually talk to each other. And when we talk about color science, every single light matches, and they can actually dance and play in unison when you actually go through it and tune in those lights. Moving on, let's talk about the nitty-gritty as far as dimensions. When we talk about dimensions here, let's talk real quick about volume. So when we talk about volume, we have done the actual cubic measurements here of how does the actual Aputure 600C Pro compare to an RE orbiter. Again, real quick, I know this looks ridiculous, but let's get to the point here. 614 cubic inches versus 2,496 cubic inches. We're talking about a product that's roughly about the fifth the size in terms of volume, right? Now volume, okay, what does that mean as far as how we go further on? Let's talk real quick about weight. How heavy is this thing to use? One of the biggest complaints that we got from a lot of cinematographers that were talking to us was, I can't have my team carrying this super heavy light, especially when it's not that bright. So for us off the bat, how light can we make this fixture? We're talking about 24.3 pounds compared to 31.3 pounds for the ARIA Orbiter. That's 30% lighter right out the gate. And again, we're already talking about that color science that is improved above and beyond as well too. But dimensions and weight and color science, okay, these are great advantages, but what does that mean as far as overall output? There has to be some trade-off, right? And actually, when we talk about brightness, this is one of the places that we're the most excited. When we measure brightness versus the industry-leading standards out there, absolutely, we were talking about a light that is over twice as bright in our readings. You can test these for yourself. And in fact, we're actually going pretty conservative with this. If you go and actually test along the HSI wheel, you'll actually see in a lot of places we're over 3 times as bright. So very exciting there. And again, using that same RGBWW color science that makes our Nova so good. Now, if we move on from here and we talk about what does this actually mean, right? Okay, this is a lot of nitty-gritty science stuff. In terms of how I'm actually going to use this on set, if I'm trying to use this to create, what does this mean for me? Well, off the bat, I think what this means for us is that for a lot of cinematographers out there, you don't have to gel your accessories anymore. And I think for the Aputure family that's watching this, we see the photos, right? We see all the posts and the pictures, and we see, you know, the gel cone, and we see all the creative ways in which people have tried to modify and basically be able to gel their modifiers, right? The lanterns and things like that, the ways that people have taped. Again, we love our friends online that have shown and made custom rigs for basically how to mount and put like a Noga arm on your Fresnel that puts a frame and actually will diffuse all that energy, but that's great. However, I think one of the questions that we've been getting all the time is, how do we build a gel holder for this accessory, or this accessory, or this accessory? And I think off the bat, we've been working on building this component level design. That chip that we're so proud of has taken us a long time. And I think a part of the reason why we have not been introducing a lot of these gel holders is because we know this is coming out. You guys are actually going to be able to tune this. And again, if you guys are excited about this and you're watching this, absolutely be sure that this actual technology is going to trickle down along the Aputure ecosystem too. So if you have a lantern and you want it to go blue, green, whatever, if you have a dome, if you have a spotlight, if you have any of this, in fact, right above me actually right now, I have Light Dome 150 above me right now. And if I wanted this light dome to go green, actually, believe it or not, there's actually a P600C. I just made it go green like that. And actually it'd say, you know, I like this dome, but I would actually like it to go red. Let's go red. And if we go red, automatically, if we do this, we can actually change it on the board and let you get this all swapped out via not only Sidus Link, but also, we'll talk about control methods in just a little bit. So no matter what accessory you're using, whether it's the spotlight mount, the Fresnel, the lantern, or the soft boxes, this all takes us back. So we'll take this light back to white for us. Thank you so much, Chris, for changing that. Now, as we go on and talk more about this product, let's talk real quick about what this means in terms of not only modularity. Again, you can shape now. The whole dream of Aputure is, you know, is it actually possible to make one light that could do everything? And I think bit by bit, incrementally, we're getting to that stage, right? There used to be a day where on every single set, you had to have a different single light, a different tool for every single application. Our goal is, you know, if you have one light on that set that can be able to do all these things, this ideally will be able to lighten your load, be able to make your tool more versatile, and it'll actually be able to expand the creativity because everything is more adaptable, everything is more customizable. So, modularity on the front, full color tunability. Built in on top of that, what does the next step for modularity also mean as well? We're talking about effects. All the effects are built into here. So again, we have 15 built-in lighting effects. If I hop on over here, I can turn on this light. Automatically off the bat, we have our party light mode going here. You can see this light right now. We are going through all of the full colors with that full chip on board. I'll open this up for you guys so you can actually see how that chip works in full action. And again, this is wrapping around that Bowens mount, that one that we brought to the industry that we were super excited about and that we have accessories for. Now, when I talk about this light here, one of the things that I want to say most about is, as we build this on, I talked before about effects. I'm going to hop on over here to effects mode. So as I go through my effects, I've got things like party lights, I've got club lights, I've got a color chase sequence, I can do candle flicking frames. Cop car, I think, is always a popular one, right? You got to turn a little bit of that on for people to be excited and see what the actual effects are working on here. So all this is actually built in and ready to go, no matter how you need it. Now, if I go on beyond this actual effect here, and we talk real quick about how do we control this beyond the built-in animations. Beyond the built-in animations, we've also got all the industry-leading methods of control. We have ArtNet, streaming ACN via Ethernet as well. We have Lumen Radio, wireless DMX built into the actual control box. We have 16-bit DMX control, and then of course we have 5-pin DMX built in as well as, of course, the Sidus Link app, which we know, we love, is super helpful, user intuitive, and anyone can pick up that app and now dial in any color that they want. And then of course on the other side, these are battery powerable lights, and just like any of the Aputure lights in the Aputure Pro series, we were talking about lights that can not only be powered off a battery, but actually if you plug in power while you actually have the battery on it, these controller boxes also act as a battery charger. So again, not only trying to lighten that load, but it's one more thing that you don't have to think about while you're on set. Now, beyond that, let's talk real quick about the next thing here, and then we're gonna talk real quick about price. Now, this is one that I know a lot of people are excited about. It's really important for us. When we talk about price here, we want to make sure that this is something that's affordable for a lot of people out there so that, again, the industry is changing. This is not just the giant companies that are buying studio gear anymore. This is owner-operators, people that own their own trucks. These are people that, again, need to be able to access their own production studios. And for people like that, it doesn't make sense to go with a crazy price tag that only NBC can pay for. So for us off the bat, we're talking about the 600C Pro. We're pricing it at $2,490. Do some Googling. I think if you're already in this industry and you're looking for color tunable lights, I think you already know as far as what this price means for the industry. And it's something that we are really proud to do. Because again, not only do we put the R&D to actually get this light to match, to get our Aputure leading color science into this actual fixture. And again, please go out there, check the tests, do SSI readings for this. Again, it's really the best way to be able to see how we stack up against any other fixture. We've done this. We're already the brightest point fixture on the market. We're already the best in terms of color tunability. We're already the best in terms of color fidelity and actual color science as well too. And this is something that we put a lot of great care into. And now, of course, we want to make sure that's, of course, priced affordably for you guys too. So, for availability, we are talking about early Q3 2022, coming out super soon. And this is a product, again, that we were super excited about. So, if there's any questions about the LS600C Pro, let us know. If you're tuning on the live stream, let us know where you're watching from as well too. It is the morning. Last night we just did the super secret film dinner where we showed this off to a lot of the Aputure family members. If you're here in Vegas, you can check that out. Brenda, are you there? You got some questions for us?
Is the LS600C Pro water resistant?
Ooh. Question right off the bat, is the LS600C Pro water resistant? And the answer for that is absolutely yes. Any light that's in the Aputure LS Pro series, what that means is that these are actually all weather resistant. So if you've seen already the 1200D or the 600C Pro, we've already seen these get taken out into like the Michigan snows or Alaska. We've seen these getting taken out into blizzards, into hail, into rain. Totally weatherproof. You can leave these outside. And the control boxes were well weatherproof as well too. So very, very important there. Next question.
Can the control box work as a charger as well?
Next question. The question is, can the control box work as a charger as well? And the answer for that is absolutely yes. Also, Brenda, let me know if we know any of these people that are tuning in. Yeah.
Sure, guys, question real quick.
Yeah.
When can we start pre-ordering?
Aha. When can we start pre-ordering the light, the Aputure LS600C Pro? And the answer for that is today. We can actually start pre-ordering it today. This is the first time that we're showing it, the first time that we're unveiling it to the public. Again, yesterday we did that closed-off private dinner for just Aputure family members, but this is the first time that we're really showing it off to the public. So if you're tuning in, you can start now, actually.
Is it compatible with the spotlight mount right now?
Okay, so next question here is this currently compatible with the Aputure spotlight mount? And the answer for that is that no, it is not optimized for the spotlight mount. However, what I can say is, hang tight. Next question. That's good. Aha. Last question here is, do you guys have a CCT control mode and HSI mode? Yeah, good questions here. The answer is absolutely yes. Not only can you actually tune in your actual HSI, but also within HSI, you can also change the color temperature mode as well too. And by the way, you know, there's a lot of information and details that are built into these controller boxes now that I'm going through because I want to go over the kind of heavy hitting points here. But I think the point of designing any of these fixtures and the point of, you know, being Aputure and being able to listen and have a really vocal user base is that when we get feedback, we're able to iterate. And the goal here is, can we think of the details so that you guys don't have to think about them, right? You know, I want to be clear here. This light is really exciting for us because I think in a lot of ways, it's one of the times in which, just like the 1200D, it's a recent change in terms of not only is Aputure, are we just a brand that's catching up? Nowadays, we're talking with a lot of the highest cinematographers out there, At the party yesterday, we were talking about all the collaborations that we're doing with people on things like Better Call Saul or The Expanse, or we were talking to Larry Fong, Batman vs Superman DP. Like this kind of feedback that we're getting now, and this change in terms of what we're doing now for the industry, it's changed a lot in terms of how we are actually now pushing the envelope of what's possible in this industry, rather than just making things affordable for everybody. So again, designing component level chips for this stuff, this is really important for us. And what I'm trying to say is that these details and things like that, this is something that we're going to move forward on and make sure that you guys don't have to worry about it. Again, because filmmaking is hard. You guys shouldn't have to worry about that, and that's something we can take care of for you. Okay.
What other accessories is the L600C Pro compatible with?
Cool. I'm going to make this the last question here before I say one more thing at the end. So if you're watching this, hang tight, because I have one more thing I want to show before we close out the stream. But the last question from Brandon, before I say this one last thing, was what other accessories are compatible with the LS600C Pro? And when we talk about that, it's literally the entire Aputure suite of products, right? So we have the F10 Fresnel if you want to be able to shape and spot and flood this. You have the domes, the Light Dome 150, the 120 Octadome. You have the Light Dome over the lanterns. The reflectors, for instance, if you want to be able to use the 1200D reflectors, that's a fantastic option to be able to shape and control the beam angle of your light. Think about your favorite interchangeable fixture. If you're watching this, I'm guessing you probably already use an Aputure light, whether it's something high like the 1200D or whether it's like the Amaran 100s. No matter where you are on this, I think you know the feeling of watching something and being like, I wish I could tune that a little bit blue or green. And again, the goal here is if I come into this and I want to tune this a little bit blue, a little bit green, I literally just hop on over here and surprise, surprise, here we go. Let's just tune it a little bit blue. Let's just tune it a little bit green. All this color changing capability happens right on the fly. Okay, so one more time, this is the Aputure LS600C Pro. Tune in real quick on the Aputure user group. We're going to continue discussing this. If you guys want to hang out and ask more questions, we will be there as well too. But before we close things up, I want to talk about our releases here. So yesterday at the dinner, we did show off a couple of things. This real quick is the Evolve Your Palette page from the Amaran releases that we've been doing. You're going to see some news coming out from the dinner party that we did yesterday where we showed off not products that are ready to release right now, but a couple of products that we're working on as far as showing the science of where we're going and giving you a little bit of an idea of what the future of this industry looks like in terms of the developments of what we're doing here. So, real quick, one more time, I want to introduce the Aputure 600C Pro. This is now available for pre-order today, shipping Q3 2020, coming out very soon. But before we close this stream up, there is, of course, one more thing that we got to talk about here, one more thing that we're very excited about here. And before we get into this, I would like to talk real quick about our little friend. And that little friend is, of course, Sidus Link. So, for the users out there that use Sidus Link, and I think that's really all of our Aputure users now, you guys know about this app. You guys know how powerful this app is. We're talking about an app that is actually built by designers, which means that it's actually an easy to use user interface. This is something we spent a lot of time into, again, thinking about the details. And when we think about filmmaking apps to date, they're clunky, they're difficult to use. A lot of the time they rely, of course, a lot of the time they actually end up relying on wireless DMX, which again is a fine standard for a lot of people. But for some people that don't want to learn this or can't go through this router system and actually have a one-to-one communication. Again, when we talk about wireless DMX, we're talking about a connection that goes only out, right? And when we're talking about something like Sidus Link, actually, we're talking about actually being able to introduce mesh networking. So again, from the beginning now, we've actually been able to introduce a Sidus mesh module into every single one of our lights, which means that every light talks to not only is it a receiver, does it receive information from your phone, but it actually acts as a repeater. It throws that signal to every other light, which means that this light is talking to every light in this booth. And not only that, but every light in this booth is talking to this light. And it's a constant communication flow of information. Every light is verifying the existence of every light on the network. Every light is relaying the information on the network. We talked about how powerful this is because every light that you add into this ecosystem strengthens the network, makes it more powerful, expands the range of where it can go. And paired with, again, the powerful app itself, we're introducing an app that's free that gives you full controllability, wireless controllability. You don't need an external router. You don't need dongles or anything like that to plug into it. It's all built into the app, ready to go. Again, thinking about those details so that you don't have to. So, the reason I bring up Sidus Link today, and this last announcement before I say it, is because when I think about the Bowens Mount and how this is something that we were able to bring in terms of interchangeable modular lighting to this industry, right? This is something we've been super proud of, and we've been talking a lot about it because I don't think there's a set you can walk on anymore that doesn't see modular lighting up here on this set. It's something that I'm really proud of because Aputure users, I remember when we were online and you would post using your modular lights and people would be like, that's not the way that filmmakers work. Well, I think we all know what happened with that. This is the way that filmmakers work now, and we're really proud to be a part of that change. I bring this up because Sidus Link and wireless mesh networking, I think, is one of those things. And what I'm trying to say is that for a lot of the users out there that have been investing time into using this app, again, we've been walking onto a lot of high-end sets now, and we see how people swipe between multiple apps to be able to use multiple things. But Sidus Link is always one of the apps that they use to be able to control all their Aputure fixtures, right? I literally do not know a high-end set anymore that does not have an MC12 light kit on it. But for those users out there that are spending time in Sidus Link, that wish that Sidus Link could go just a little bit further, let's talk about this last announcement here. Last announcement is, let's do it. Sidus Link DMX. So, what does Sidus Link DMX mean? Sidus Link DMX means that yes, we are announcing it today. It's not available today, but we just want to give you guys a very clear picture of something that we already have a working prototype of, something that's going to get released very, very soon. And for all the Sidus Link users out there, guess what? If there's ever been a time where you've controlled your Aputure lights and thought, man, I really wish, I love this app, right? We get this feedback all the time. I love this app. It's so intuitive. It's so easy to use. I can pixel map my lights. I can do all this stuff from this app. But then you've looked at another brand and you've been like, well, I have to use, I don't know, these Titan tubes. I have to use this sky panel. I've got to use this stuff too. And it doesn't work on there. We're introducing it. Any light that has wireless DMX into it right now will actually be controllable via Sidus Link. And we showed this off at the demo yesterday, so we watched some videos about it online. We're super excited to be announcing this. Any light out there from any brand now will not only be able to get controlled, but it will literally dance in the same motion that your Aputure lights do as well too. So that mesh technology, we're expanding it outside of the Aputure ecosystem. Sidus is going to be able to control any fixture, regardless of brand, if it has wireless DMX built into it. And if it doesn't have wireless DMX built into it, we are building wireless dongles. We already have prototypes ready to go. And those DMX dongles, you can literally just plug them in and bang, any fixture now that has a plug-in DMX port can now be controllable via Sidus Link as well. And the reason I talk about why this is so important is because, again, Aputure users out there, for you people out there that have gotten a head start on learning how to use this software before anyone else, you're going to be able to walk onto sets now, and you're going to be the only one that has the app that controls every other light on the set, including all of your Aputure lights. And this is something that we're really proud of. The people that are putting your time in there, this is a development that we had to do. It took a lot of time to do, but it's only going to continue to grow, and it's only going to continue to get better. So the Aputure ecosystem is here for you guys. We matched all those colors, but if you need to go work beyond that, we're taking care of you guys as well there too. So I can't announce anything about availability and pricing for Sidus DMX, but I do have a demo of this that I can show. If you have any questions about it, let us know. Yesterday at the dinner, we were standing up there on stage. We had some Astera Titan tubes. We had some S30s, S60s, and I was actually literally just dialing them in, making them dance, go blue, red, green, in perfect unison with all of our Aputure lights as well too. So I'm going to close it out there. Let's take 2 questions real quick. Thank you so much for watching, guys. We'll take these 2 questions, and then we'll close it out. Brenda, how's it going? What do we got?
Someone's saying that this is going to be great for school studios.
We got a lot of love in the comments. That's good. That's good. I'm not going to read that out, Brandon. Brandon just said, can I cancel my Luminaire subscription? No, I'm not answering that.
What DMX is this going to be compatible with? Does this work with ArtNet and radio transmitters?
The answer, the question was, what DMX does this work with? Does this work with ArtNet and Luminaire transmitters? The answer is absolutely yes. Yeah, we're talking about an all-inclusive thing. Sidus, again, we're spending a lot of time on this user interface. It's going everywhere for you guys.
Are features like Sidus Link color picker in Sidus DMX?
Are pictures like, oh, absolutely, yes. So all of those features, by the way, that Sidus Link has, things like color picture, things like magic program, like the easiest way to be able to do pixel mapped effects between multiple lights. Yes, that means that those features are now available for any other light. And again, to be very clear here, Sidus Link, the standard version, is free for everybody. So in the future, if we build this out, yes, you're going to be able to control all these other lights. All this innovation that you love about your Aputure lights, actually, it's going to work with not only Aputure lights, but you can expand it beyond then. You can actually be able to take this anywhere you go. So it doesn't matter about the light anymore. Cool. Those are our 2 questions. I know we have a lot more, but if you have any more questions, tune in real quick. On Facebook, we have the Aputure user group. I think it passed like 17,000 people, which is crazy. We're here at NAB 2022. I want to say thank you for tuning in, guys. You know, I haven't had a chance to say it for a little bit, but the past couple of years have been crazy. And Aputure users, we've been growing. And I have to say thank you for taking us to that next level. Thank you for pushing in us and believing us. And again, we're changing the industry bit by bit, and I have to say thanks to you guys. So, thanks so much, guys. I'm Ted from the A-Team. This is the Aputure 600C Pro, and we just talked about Sidus Link DMX. NAB 2020 will be online. We'll catch you guys later.